Hey, what is up guys? Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to Gran Turismo 7 Money Glitches and Methods. Big thanks to Tofu for sending me this message in the early hours of the morning. I did wake up to this message and kind of got straight on it really to check out if it was legit, and it turns out it is. While I've been focusing on the kind of main events in there, turns out Quick Race is the new place to be for money making methods and glitches at this point. I don't know really what you'd count this is. I don't know if it's intentional or if it's, you know, kind of supposed to be there. So gone are the days of grinding events, you know, the likes of Spa, Le Mans, you know, Tokyo. They're completely irrelevant at this point. There is many more ways of making money now than ever. All you need to do is take advantage of a slow vehicle with an engine swap and take advantage of the Tomahawk X, and well, you're pretty much set. So there's a new king on the block in terms of the vehicles for making money in GT7, and that's going to be the Abarth 595 with the K20 engine swap. So just a heads up, you will need to be level 50 before you even attempt this. That way you can just go ahead and buy all the engine swaps and stuff and get everything set up the way you're going to need it. You can't do this with a non-engine swap to Barth. It just wouldn't work. Like I said, we're taking advantage of the fact that the game doesn't factor in that car's actual engine swap. It factors it in as a normal vehicle. So make sure you've got the Abarth 595 or an engine swapped vehicle that is also slow. Maybe the Beetle would work as well. And also ensure that you picked up one of these. This is the SRT Tomahawk X VGT, the fastest car in all of Gran Turismo 7, and we're going to be taking advantage of that ridiculous PP rating and the ridiculous speed this thing has. So once you've got both cars, ensure that you've got the engine swap, the K20 engine in the Abarth 595, and then just follow this in terms of the tuning. It's going to be a comfort soft at the front, a racing soft at the rear, fully customizable suspension in terms of body height is 75 front, 85 rear, anti-roll bar is 10 across for both, compression 40 for both, expansion 50 for both, natural frequency 310 front and 325 rear, negative camber angle 2.5 front and 5 at the rear, with 0 on the toe angle across for both. Differential fully customizable, 60 on torque, 60 on acceleration and 5 on braking sensitivity. Moving on next to the fully customizable racing transmission, set this to around about 250, no individual changes there, no power limiting on this one. In terms of the downforce, we're going to move up to the front here, ensure that the front's at 10 and the rear is around about 100. High RPM turbocharger with the anti-lag set to strong, racing intercooler, racing air cleaner, racing silencer, racing manifold, brake system, racing slotted, racing pads. Then moving up here, we want the racing clutch and flywheel, and then install every single permanent mod: bore up, stroke up, engine balance, polish ports, high lift camshaft S, titanium connecting rods and pistons, racing crankshaft, and then all of the weight reductions, including increased body rigidity. Now next, you need to go ahead and tune the Tomahawk, so put racing softs on that vehicle, leave all the suspension as it is. You don't need to mess around with that. The only other change you actually need to make to this is a fully customizable racing transmission, set it to 500, which is the minimum, and then completely bug out the gears. Ensure that they're at the lowest so the car just won't really go anywhere and won't be a match for you. I'm sure you can be more efficient in terms of this and kind of underpowering the Tomahawk while keeping the PP quite high on this vehicle. That's all you need to do in terms of the tuning for both vehicles. Then you need to head over to World Circuits, go over to the left hand side, which is Americas, and then go down to the likes of Daytona International Speedway or Blue Moon. Ensure that you've got the Abarth 595 selected with the K20 engine swap. Go into custom races, head over to Tri-Oval, and then I'm going to load up these settings here, which I already have for Blue Moon as well, where I've attempted this one. Now, here we go. Ensure that you've got your laps set to 30. As you can see, the payout's going to be ridiculous for this one. So set it to around about 25 to 30 laps, 20 vehicles on the grid. Put yourself at the back. Now, none of this needs changing. Ensure that you've got no tire wear, no fuel consumption. You don't need to be touching that. Same when it comes to the likes of the weather, just leave it as it is. Leave it as the default sort of clear day weather. Again, move down here to rivals and put select from garage. Open it up and set all of the AI to the Tomahawk X with the bugged out gears. Then put yourself at the back in the 595 Abarth. Set them to professional level difficulty difficulty, and you should be able to bring up all of these settings and giving you around about 1.2 million without the clean race bonus. So just go ahead and start up the race. Now, in terms of a few tips and pointers, the Tomahawks are going to be ridiculously slow. So as soon as you start, move over to the right and get out of the way of the Tomahawk in front of you and start working your way through the pack. So overall, you probably can be more efficient in terms of getting the Tomahawks to run at a decent pace. They do stop on a dime, by the way, so just do not sit behind them. They will just come to an instant stop pretty much on all of the bank corners. So if you're ever following one, just get ready to move out the way. Don't kind of, be directly behind it. That is going to make you lose that clean race bonus. I have heard from the likes of Tofu and some other people as well that have been messaging me on PSN that you can basically ride the walls as well and still get the clean race bonus. The main thing you don't want to do is be hitting the Tomahawks. Now, the way I've got it set up here, it means that my overall lap's relatively slow, mainly because the Tomahawks themselves do become a complete obstacle. Like I said, I'm sure someone out there will find a more, I guess, smoother method in terms of getting the Tomahawk to have a bit more speed and not be as bunched up, so you're not having to lap them nearly every couple of laps or so. Overall, that is what's kind of slowing me down here. If you get it running smoothly, I can expect you to do probably 30 laps in around about 24 to 25 minutes. But in the way I've got these Tomahawks set up, they're just a complete obstacle, and they sort of group up and will try and move over at the last minute and such. So all you need to do is just avoid them and go and do the entire 30 laps. In terms of the car itself, don't be pushing it too hard. Although it's, capable of 200 miles per hour in the straight, in terms of the corners, I do recommend just downshifting and then kind of, balancing the throttle. As you can see, I'm never on, full throttle for too long, or else it'll start kicking out the front, and there is a good chance you can end up in the barrier. But like I said, there is rumours that if you do hit the barrier, that is okay. I don't know if one of you guys wants to test that out for me, but that is just what a few people have come along and told me in terms of the early hours of this morning and such. But yeah, once again, massive thank you to Tofu for that early hours message. It was quite a nice thing to wake up to, that look, money methods are completely different this time around with 1.40, that we're not relying on events from Polyphony themselves, and that we can pretty much just do what we want at this point. We can probably come up with some really weird and wacky combinations to actually make money with. Like I said, it all seems to be that it's not taking into account the engine swap, it's just taking into account the base vehicle. So essentially the system that's in place, it's just thinking this is a standard 595 Bath, but in reality it's a 200 mile per hour wheelie popping rocket, compared to the Tomahawk X, which has the completely bugged out gears. So yeah, you can probably do this in something like the Porsche engine swap VWB, or maybe the Samba bus as well. There's probably unlimited ridiculous ways that you can actually go ahead and just beat these Tomahawks and earn a lot of money doing it. So there we go, explanation out of the way. Let's move over to the ending and the payout itself. Okay, so moving on to the final lap here, as you can see, we're around about 27 minutes in. Like I said, if you get the Tomahawks running more efficiently, expect to do this from around about, 24 to 26 minutes probably. No problem at all to complete those 30 laps. Just ensure you're doing it as clean as possible. And if someone wants to test out the wall riding for me, that'd be absolutely great. In terms of the overall time, 27 minutes, 7 seconds, 0.302. Fastest lap was on lap 26 as a 51.454, lapping the Tomahawks 14 times, which seems a bit extreme, and I'll kind of go along and customize them a little bit more to try and get them to run at a bit of a better pace. Now, this is the big one. If you do get the clean race bonus with those settings, you're looking at 1.75 million per 25 minutes or so. That is absolutely ridiculous. This is the most money, or the best possibility in terms of earning money that we've ever had in GT7 since launch. It's even better than the days of the Tomahawk. You're talking upwards of nearly 4 million credits per single hour in GT7. Earning money is just easier than it's ever been. So there we go. That is an updated money method for 1.40. Quick Race is your new best friend. Using a realistically slow vehicle with a massive engine swap is also going to be your best friend. And that Tomahawk X, well, it's a kind of Uno reverse. So instead of using it for the money, we're kind of using, racing against it for the money this time around. So there we go. No, Polyphony didn't forget to be kind of making money in GT7 for update 1.40. They just kind of removed the reliance on on, you know, a single bunch of events. So there is probably multiple tracks and multiple ways of running this. It just seems like the oval tracks like Blue Moon or Daytona seem to be the most efficient in terms of, you know, racing these absolutely ridiculous engine swap vehicles against the Tomahawk X. That's going to be it from me today. I will see you in the next one. Thank you so much for watching. Take care, guys. Peace.